Hello, everybody. Welcome back to One Leeds Fan Channel. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is myself, Conor McGilligan, and I am joined by Chris Reeve from the Talk Norwich City podcast. I don't normally do opposition previews, but I thought because Chris is about, he's a canary, we can get him on, and he's very, very good. If you haven't already, make sure you check out the Talk Norwich City podcast. Well, let's get into it. Chris, how are you doing, mate? You okay?
That was such a kind intro, very, very hypey intro. I feel like I've got some confidence going to this game now, Connor. You're kind of revving me up for this one. I'm well. Life is incredible, but Norwich City are terrible.
Yes.
So it's probably the only area of my life where things are not good at the moment. And I expect that you probably feel the same way about Leeds.
Yeah, I do, mate. It's not great for us either at this moment in time. Chris, a direct question. What is the point in Norwich City?
Oh, blimey, mate. Hang on. Do you want me to carry on this interview or not?
No, let me be specific. In the Premier League, Chris, is it getting more and more frustrating for a Norwich City fan in the Premier League at this moment in time? I think because we were just mentioning it on your channel as well. We did an opposition preview. Go check that out on Talk Norwich City as well. I think the reason I asked that question is because it must be so frustrating at this moment in time from a Norwich City perspective. I understand the self-sustainability. I understand the family-orientated club, which is amazing. But to have that hype from the Championship and doing so well, we referenced it on your show as well, the 2019, the Ben Godfrey, the Buendia, the Cantwell, the Pookie show, and the surge from Norwich City into the Premier League. That momentum was quelled pretty instantaneously. How is it from a Norwich City perspective in general?
Look, it's so frustrating, mate. I'm not going to sit here and I can't take the yellow and green glasses off, right? It's so frustrating, and as much as it's a good thing to obviously to bang the self-sustaining club drum. It's still frustrating. What's important to reference here for a lot of the Leeds fans that are watching, and those that have got their head screwed on, Connor, will understand that the gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And realistically, it's so difficult. This is a really tough job. And people don't realise that Delia is down to her last peanuts. She ain't got any money, mate. She hasn't got a single, like seriously. And it's
needed.
Exactly. So it's really, really difficult for Norwich. And to kind of, I think that question that you hit me with initially, what's the point in Norwich, is a very talk sport question. And I think that the Nationals are picking on Norwich as an easy target. But actually, if you look underneath Norwich City about who we really are, what we do, and how we operate, and what our values are, and what we did during the global pandemic, you would realise that we're a proper, well-run, really, really respectable football club. And I think that, as I say, any football fan with their head screwed on will understand that, all right, Norwich are going to be in and around the bottom three. We are. But I do think it's getting harder and harder. So I've been very disappointed with people that just kind of write us, obviously because I'm a fan, but people just write us off and stuff. But actually, I think that people that love football should want to see Norwich City do well, because it's David versus Goliath in every single game of football we play. Leeds, for example, what is your squad worth? Rafina, ridiculous player. We can't attract that talent. We can't. And the talent that we managed to get up to a respectable level, for example, Emi Buendia, naturally, when Norwich break into the Premier League, those players are going to want to progress and move on to bigger and better things. So,
Chris, can I just interrupt you on that point? And this is just from my perspective, and I'm sure a lot of Leeds fans want to know. With Calvin Phillips, we're not a massively, we don't have bags and bags of money, especially when we're coming into the Premier League. 16 years out sort of vindicates that. But coming into the Premier League, for us, keeping hold of Calvin Phillips was absolutely essential. Tottenham had come in for him. Villa had come in for him. Were you a little bit disappointed to see Emi Buendia go to, this is no disrespect, but to an Aston Villa? We're not even talking about a Man City here or a Man United, a Liverpool, whatever. Would you not have wanted the club to maybe show a little bit more grit and keep hold of him for at least just a season?
Well, of course, but it's pretty well documented, Connor, that Emmy has been touted with a move away from Norwich City for the last 2 seasons. And the fact that we kept him, basically, Emmy Buendia is maybe 30 or even 40% of the reason why we got promoted again from the Championship last season, right? So to have him for that season is a blessing. Some people will say that I lack ambition by saying that, and yeah, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, the finances that we're talking, to have a player that's on so much more money than those other players for a club like Norwich, it's really, really tough. I have no doubt that Stuart Webber threw the absolute kitchen sink at Emi Buendia to try and keep him at the club. The same as Ollie Skipp from Tottenham, yeah? These were key players for Norwich City last season, but it's just not realistic to keep them. Now, what you've got on your side regarding Calvin Phillips, he's a Leeds lad. And actually, with respect, Connor, it's so much easier for you in that respect. It really, really is. I also think because of your 9th place finish as well, like that's I think there was something going on there, and I think it's very obvious that that Calvin should have stayed. So I don't think you can relate the two, if I'm honest. But look, realistically, we're never going to be able to keep hold of a player like Emi Buendia until we have owners that will absolutely break the bank to keep those players at the football club, and that is the. People don't want to hear it. People think it's content, it's boring, it's unaspirational, but it's just the truth. It's so hard for Norwich. It's so difficult.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it seems like every single time you come up, there is a bit of a stumbling block. I mean, if we revert back to 2019 and when you came into the Premier League with absolute ferocity, I remember that. We were just speaking about it on our other preview, but. That team, I mean, Ben Godfrey, I just remember him, you scoring your 3rd and him giving it in front of the Ellen Road Cop, which, he's from near me as well. He's from near me back in York is Godfrey. And I know he'd have loved that one. But, Vrancic as well. He was such a well-oiled machine going up to the Premier League. And I really did think you'd do well. What happened then, Chris, with that team, do you think?
The truth is, Connor, is that team, we were too thin on the ground. We didn't have backup. And also the players that we brought in were woeful. They were absolutely woeful. Duda, Dermich. These are players that we brought in and they were useless, mate. I can't put it any other way. They were really, really bad. I won't be getting Christmas cards from them or their friends, but that is the truth. They weren't good enough for the Premier League, and so we couldn't make the step up because of the recruitment, but also our squad was way too thin on the ground. So that was why we got relegated last time out. And I think you make this point, and we've spoken about this on our opposition preview on Talk Norwich City, is that we speak a lot about identity, and you're probably going through that same thing at the moment of, well, do we sack off identity and do we just park the bus? And you start to second guess it. And I think what we saw when Norwich first came up to the Premier League, obviously before Leeds had done so, is that we tried to do what you did very, very well last season. Bit gung-ho, attack. You score, we'll score 2 more. We'll try that. But quite frankly, Norwich didn't have the funds, and also the recruitment was not right to do that. Leeds, bang on the money. Their recruitment was great, obviously, to get that 9th place finish. And of course, the money available to you guys is obviously astronomically more than Norwich City. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen it on a couple of your shows as well. In terms of when you look at Sheffield United, a Leeds, a Brentford, I'm not putting those sort of sides in terms of magnitude into a bracket. But if you look at those 3 sides and what they've been able to achieve in the first season, obviously we don't know with Brentford now, but I mean they're looking very, very good.
Don't mention them. I'm too jealous. I'm sick with jealousy over Brentford, mate. Don't get me started.
That's what I was going to ask you, Chris. I mean, it must be such a frustration in terms of what you're able to do in the Championship, because you blow teams away, just absolutely blow teams away, and teams can't handle with you. I can talk from a personal experience, with regards to Leeds United in that bracket, as we were just saying. But what is it? Is it just the thinness of the squad then? Because I look at Leeds, and when we went up, we were still thin. Sheffield United was still thin. So what is it with Norwich?
Last time, we were in the Premier League, yes, I would say we were thin on the ground. This time, I think more questions are being asked of Daniel Farke. There were a few when we got relegated last time, understandably so. When you lose 10 games in a row, most head coaches or managers, they get the sack after 4 or 5. We kept Daniel Farke. It was definitely the right thing to do, 100%. And I really respect this guy, might I add. You know, what he's done at Norwich City with the money that he's had, the fact that he's blooded in these fantastic youngsters, you know, Jamal Lewis, Ben Godfrey, Max Aarons, you know, all of these players, Todd Cantwell, you know, what he's done has been phenomenal. But the brutal truth now, Connor, and I've not said this publicly yet, certainly in any Norwich City spaces, is I think we've maybe been found out. I think we're too predictable, and I think the Nationals are right. I think that we are perhaps just a little bit naive, and for a team like Norwich to survive in the Premier League, maybe we just need to shithouse it. Maybe we just need to park the bus in order to just get us. Because as soon as you survive for one season, you give yourself that platform. But Norwich are just stuck in that transition at the moment. Might I add that I've not got a problem with, bearing in mind that our budgets are even lower than some of the mid-table clubs in the Championship. But yeah, look, Connor, it's a conundrum that every Norwich City fan is scratching their head over at the moment. And I think, to answer it bluntly, I think more questions than ever before are being asked of Daniel Farke. Yeah,
it's interesting. Definitely is. In terms of styles then, how do Leeds United play against Norwich to get the win?
Does Bielsa watch your show?
Obviously, every week.
In which case, I'll skip the question.
I don't think he does, Chris, just as a caveat.
Fingers crossed he doesn't watch this. But to be honest with you, and particularly with Bielsa's preparation, which is very well known, it's easy, mate. It's very easy. The problem that Norwich have got is that we've now reverted to being a lot more defensive in our formation, our structure, and also arguably our style as well, if I'm honest with you. And we can't really defend at the moment, as you've seen with a 7-0 loss away to Chelsea. If you catch our wing backs forwards and you hit us on the break, we're dead meat, guts for garters. It's a simple case of just getting in those spaces, crossing the ball in, lucky ricochet, deflection, easy tapping. And that is the frank, honest answer. And that's it. It's very easy to beat us at the moment. But I say that as being a key area. If I'm honest, we're getting beaten from all angles everywhere. We're getting shots from the edge of the box where, you know, crosses are poor, corners. We're still zonal marking, which is just a pile of steaming shite. And pardon my French, but I can't put it any other way.
Yeah. Is the pressy sort of possession? So I always admired that when you came up to the Premier League. I remember, I think you played Liverpool away on the first day, and I know you got smacked, but you went up there with as we've spoken about, an identity. And is that sort of possession press based Norwich gone now? Gone.
History. You won't see that. I'll be very, very surprised if you guys don't have more possession than us at Carrow Road. I really, really will. I know that you.
How do you feel? How do you feel about that, Chris?
Sad. Really sad, because we're not even doing. Because I see the sitting back defensive negative formation as a bit dirty. I think, all right, then, okay, I'll try and get behind that. It's a bit Chris Wilder, you know. We'll try and do the Brexit football. We'll try and get behind it, but we can't even do that well. So how do I feel about it? I feel a bit dirty about it, really, mate, because we're trying to shithouse through games, but we're not even doing that well. And it's really hard to take because, as you say, we have had, in recent seasons under Daniel Farke, a really strong identity of possession-based football where we're bringing the game to the opposition. What we've done is we've signed 2 wingers in Milo Rashica and Christos Zolis, who are currently sitting on the bench or not even in the squad, would you believe, because Emi Buendia's left. So everything was going central, Connor. Everything was being fed through Emi Buendia to Timu Pukki. Those through balls up ahead of him for him to tap into the back of net. Easy. We saw it away at Leeds at Ellen Road, run out. But now we've signed these wingers, but we're not even playing the wingers. And then we're chopping and changing Dimitris Yunus with Brandon Williams from Manchester United. So, mate, I don't want to come across. I can't not come across as negative. We're an absolute mess. We're a mess, and we're a sitting duck. And if Leeds don't get a point against us this Saturday, you should be seriously worried that you're getting relegated this season.
Yeah, I think I've said that as well in terms of Leeds going into this game, and it's not to sound arrogant. It's really not, Chris, because I think it's one of those things where you need to be picking up points in and around, sides in and around you. Really, we haven't done that with Burnley. Well, we've picked up a point. We picked up a point against Newcastle, but we'd be expecting to win those games. Won both those games away last year, and we haven't this season. But in terms of Norwich, I think it is a must-win. It really is a must-win for Leeds, and it really does depend on how we set up. But it's definitely going to be fascinating to see. In terms of your summer signings as well, Chris. Josh Sargent, 9 million on him, which is it's big money for Norwich, really. I think 9 million for a newly promoted side is still a considerable amount, really. And players alike, really. Billy Gilmore's the big one as well, who doesn't seem to have really. When I saw Billy Gilmore's gone to Norwich, I thought to myself, Jesus, that's some signing that in a really, in a really good system. That's a proper signing. What's happened?
Mate, I can't answer the question. We don't have a clue. Norwich fans do not. We don't know. We don't know what's going on, mate. We are literally baffled by this. We've brought in Billy Gilmore on loan. I think Billy Gilmore on loan, apart from Hucks back in the day, is one of the most exciting loan. Oh yeah, didn't he play for Leeds, by the way?
He was, mate. He was just. I don't think he could. I mean, we had about 18 strikers, but we liked Huckabee. He's a pace merchant, wasn't he?
Hucks is a legend, mate. Absolute legend. Anyway, Billy Gilmore, so talented, hanging around with Champions League winners, been in and amongst the Champions League winning squad. Doesn't get much bigger or exciting than that in football. To be honest, I'm sure if Leeds signed Billy Gilmore on loan, you guys would be buzzing. Farke's not played him, and he's not played him because he was getting up to speed. And then we started conceding loads of goals. So he's going, no, Billy can't do the dirty work enough. He can't. I think he's thinking that. I'm trying to second guess this because obviously we don't really know. So Billy's not been getting in the side. And as I've already said, we've signed these two wingers, Zolis, who was touted with a move to Manchester United, one of the most, according to Daniel Farke, quote unquote, one of the most exciting players in Europe right now, not even getting in the squad sometimes. Okay. We've then got Mila Rashica, who's a sub and is being thrown on in and around the 80th minute in games when the game's already gone. So yeah, in terms of and as you say, Josh Sargent, I like Josh and I like what he gives. He's a workhorse. He's very good in the air, but he missed an absolute sitter. I feel bad for saying it because I like the guy. I think he's a really nice guy, but he just missed such a sitter against Brighton. It was the miss of the season, and I hope he can get back from that, but I struggle to see how he's going to get his confidence back from that miss. Certainly in the next two games when we need a reaction, we need confidence, and after you go and get thrashed 7-0 by Chelsea, it's tough. So in short, to answer your question, even though I've done it the long way, the recruitment, I think, is actually being good, but the players that have been given at Daniel Farke's disposal haven't been utilised effectively in the systems that we played.
How do you feel about him? Because he sort of said it last week, didn't he, when obviously he got drummed by Chelsea? He sort of came out and said that, I'm paraphrasing here, by the way, but, we don't sort of look at these games. We look at Leeds, next week, or we look at clubs like that. And I completely agree with what he's saying, by the way, the difference between Chelsea and Leeds in terms of finances, in terms of squad worth, etc. is just ridiculous. But how does that make you feel, him coming out sort of directly after that game and saying that as if it was? I don't know. When I heard it, I didn't sort of feel right. I was like, okay, well, were you not taking this game seriously, or I don't know? How did you feel after that, mate?
It's not after, mate. It's before. That's what's really grinding Norwich fans' gears at the moment, including mine, might I say. That before every game, there is a press conference performance that is basically littered with analogies and excuses. And although it's realistic, and I really respect Daniel Farke to reiterate that, I think what I've learned, and certainly over the last two Premier League seasons that Norwich have been here, your words matter. Actually, to be fair, leadership in general, your words matter. Everything you say matters, and it gets filtered down from the top into the squad. Yeah, And when players see in the press, because players are on social, there's this whole thing at Norwich, ignore the noise. They can't ignore the noise. People don't ignore the noise anymore. You can't. People are on their phones all the time. And so when you see your head coach come out saying, we Champions League winners, it's not a game that we're going to target to win. I love Thomas Tuchel as the best manager ever in the world. Like, do you know, I think it kind of sets a precedent of, yeah, well, if we concede, we're not going to get it. And to be fair, the stats are pretty damning. If you look at it, mate, we haven't won a game from behind for yonks in the Premier League. So, yeah, I think the mentality is, I mean, I could swear here quite a lot, but I'll try and keep it clean. The mentality is poor. And that's what's really getting on my goat at the moment, is when you go into games and, you know, you're saying, oh, we don't target these games. Well, I'm sorry, but I know the gap's getting bigger, but we've seen, and I'm so jealous of Brentford. I'm so jealous of Brentford. Look what Brentford are doing. Look what they are doing. They're going into games and they're just going for it. Yeah. Mm. And you don't hear their gaffer saying this, saying that about, you know, all these excuses. They're just going for it because that's what it's about as a newly promoted side. That's all you can do as a newly promoted side. I'll hold my hands up, yeah? If Rafinha scores from the edge of the box at Carrow Road at the weekend, and it's an absolute worldie, I hold my hands up and I say, oh, you can't do anything about that. You can't do anything about that. But if Rafinha scores an absolute tap-in and it's shoddy defending again, that's what really annoys me. So, yeah, as you can see, I'm just frothing at the mouth over it. I am so frustrated, and I know a lot of Norwich fans are feeling the same way.
I think as well, like to that, I mean, we went on an unbelievable run at the end of last season. I think we were 7 out of 10, and immersed in there was a win at Man City. I know you guys beat Man City the last time you were in the Premier League as well. You know, draws against Chelsea, beating Spurs at home, and what I'm trying to allude to here, it's not smoke up Leeds' arse or anything like that, but it is they buoyed you. They buoyed you as fans. They buoyed you as a team. As you've just said, it's you know, all the players are on social media. It's a huge thing going out and beating a top 6 side. So yeah, it's a difficult mindset to look at just a bottom 6 league. But I mean, I guess it's realistic, Chris, but it's not what the fans want to hear, is it?
No, not at all, mate. And I just feel like we're tickling the bellies of the opposition. Like, you know, before Leicester came, it was, oh, Leicester, former Premier League winners, this and that. They've got such an amazing squad, blah, blah, blah. We should have beaten them. We should have beaten them. When people saying we should have taken a draw, mate, we should have beaten them. We had the chances to beat Leicester. And I know Leicester have been poor, but my point stands is that you're so right, Connor. And I love what you've said there. And when you beat a side that is perceived of being in these amazing football clubs, like, it feels really good, and it can make or break your season. And even in a circumstance that we've spoken about before, about when we played in the Championship and we beat Leeds at Carrow Road, the fact that we beat Leeds away, the fact that we beat Leeds at Ellen Road was huge. Like, it was like we are the real deal now, and I think that's the killer. That's the frustrating thing. And when things are going badly, you need to be even more careful with what you say and how you say it. And at the moment, there's a lot of talk, but not a lot of results on the pitch.
So, do you think, as a side, I know we've spoken about it on your channel as well. I know you were talking about being threadbare, but do you think in terms of the starting 11, in terms of quality, do you think you're better this time out or worse this time out than you were?
No. I'm not going to say any excuses. And you know, the players that we brought in, the recruitment, and people are arguing this already because obviously the results. I think the recruitment's been really stellar. We've brought in raw talent that's not quite ready, but it's a bit sparky, unpredictable in Christos Zolis. Not used him. We've brought in experienced talent in Milo Rashica, who is known all over Europe as being a quality player who can hit the ground running. We've not played him in games. We've signed Ben Gibson, who was getting clean sheets for fun at Burnley when he first joined and was flirting with the England side, and has been in and out the side. So, mate, the recruitment has been fine. We've got the players, and even our bench at the moment. I look at our bench and I think, yeah, we've got some options here. We could affect this game, but the subs are coming too late. And but
Chris, is he waiting for a Leeds to deploy these players based on what we've said before?
Do you know, the thing that worries me with that statement is that you've got the players to seriously hurt us. So we've set out quite negatively, in my opinion, for the last few games. Yeah, we really negatively, and we've still not got results. Now he'll be looking at this game at Carrow Road against Leeds, thinking, so do I sit back and suck up the pressure and try and hit Leeds on the counter? Come on, playing that defensively at Carrow Road in the Premier League against the side in our, with respect, our mini league, as you've called it, Connor. We should be giving it a go, but I don't know. And the problem is, if we do give it a go, we'll be exposed. It's a real conundrum. I wouldn't like to be in Daniel Farke's position at the moment. I really, really wouldn't.
Do you think and this is just a general point, how different is the Premier League now, even from the last time that you sort of went down? How different do you think it is right now?
I mean, it's already a big step up in general. The space that you get in the Championship, the time that you have on the ball in the Championship, the quality. This is the thing. If Leeds go down this season, you'll absolutely smash you'll smash the Championship. And I really think if Norwich go down, we will smash the Championship, because the gap is even bigger. The gap from the Championship to the Premier League is big. The gap between the newly promoted sides and the established sides of the Premier League is big. The quality is ridiculous, mate. The Premier League is the only league in the world that's signing huge names on the biggest money in the world, and it's ridiculous. And even in the games that Norwich have performed really, in my opinion, quite well at this season, punished. Bit of bad luck, punished. In the Championship, you get a slice of bad luck, a deflection, it goes through on goal, the player clips it wide, or it takes it, they skyrocket it over the bar. It's a proper Johnny Wilkinson. Mate, you give a single ounce of a chance to a player in the Premier League, goal. That's it.
Like I thought when you played Chelsea, a lot of people looked at that result and thought, wow, Norwich have lost 7-0. Mate, every single time we play one of those top four, it could be 7, it could be 8, and it's just whether or not on the day they take the chances.
And this is a point, mate, and I really wanted to make that clear, actually, because Norwich have had a lot of stick this season. But if you look at the games that we've lost, so for example, we lost 5-0 away at Man City, 3-0 at home to Liverpool. I think everyone will be beaten by those scores, by those two sides this season. I really do. And it wouldn't surprise me to see it happen to Leeds either. So, yeah, Norwich have taken some flack. But the start that we've had, mate, was brutal. And to be honest with you, has really knocked us off our horse. The question now is, can we get on our horse fast enough to complete the race? At the moment, I'm not sure. I think we're still on the floor, mate. And I'm not sure we're even getting up onto one knee at the moment.
Mate,
it's a bit like a funeral, this, isn't it? Sorry, mate.
That's fine by me. Yeah, it's fine. It's making me feel a bit better. But yeah, mate. In terms of your score predictions for this one, but what I want to get before that is, are you Farke in or Farke out?
Oh God, you've asked me the question.
Wilder in.
Look, I've said, this is the thing, mate. I slammed Chris Wilder when someone asked us the question, would you have Wilder now? And a lot of Norwich fans are saying that. I felt a bit dirty about it. Oh no, come on, we're better than that. We're better than that. But because of the way we're playing, I'm now asking the question to myself, thinking, do we need a shithouse gaffer?
Aggressive.
Do we need aggressive, tracksuit wearing passion merchant that's going to stick a rocket up their arse at half time when we're 1-0 down? Maybe that's what we need. I've said for a few months now that by the end of November, we will know. Norwich will know their fate, because we've got games that we can win, home games, winnable games against teams that we should be competing against and getting at least draws out of at Carrow Road. If we don't, and we've not picked up enough points in November, then I will be what you're saying, which I'm not going to say, but because it'll be clipped up. But I think that if we lose against Leeds at home, it's going to be incredibly toxic at Carrow Road. So,
is it a must-win, Chris, for you?
Sorry, mate. Say it again.
Is it a must-win for you?
100%.
Yeah.
This is the biggest. This is. I know every game's big. This is huge for Daniel Farke. Huge, because if he loses this one, it becomes. I think it turns from a vocal minority to a vocal majority. I personally think that. I think that fans will turn on Farke if we don't lose this, if we don't win this game against Leeds. I don't think a draw will suffice, and it will only prolong the pain. So Farke needs a win. But to answer your question, I would give him November, because I think with the games that we've got. But then I'm saying that the other side of the fence is that might be too late. So I wouldn't want to be Daniel Farke right now. I wouldn't want to be Stuart Webber right now. And quite frankly, I wouldn't want to be the Norwich players right now either, because they are under immense pressure, and it will be a fascinating encounter at Carrow Road. It really will, mate. And I think it will go one way or the other. I think it'll either be a draw or it'll be a very, very convincing win for Leeds. If it's a very convincing win for Leeds, and the Leeds fans that are watching this right now, that will be at Carrow Road, it will be an incredibly toxic atmosphere at Carrow Road if it starts to go wrong. And that's the thing. If Leeds go 1-up, game over. Simple as that.
Interesting, mate. So after all this positivity, I'm going to ask you for a score prediction, mate.
Yeah, mate. As I say, I think one way or the other. I think it will be a draw. I of course want it to be a win, but it could easily be. It's a bit of a politician's answer here, but it could easily be 3-0 to Leeds. But you know what? I think I'll have a little bit of faith, and I'll go 1-1. I'll go Norwich 1, Leeds 1. But Norwich will score first, because if Leeds score first, it's easy for you. Who's
your right back?
At the moment, we are playing Max Aarons, but left back is where the worry is, because we might play Brandon Williams, who signed on loan from Manchester United. We might play Dimitri Giannoulis, which is chopping changing. But yeah, you're up against Max Aarons.
Okay, left back. So we're looking at Brandon Williams against Rafinha. We'll end it there, guys. So
Austin, Rafinha, if you're watching Rafinha, because I know you watch this amazing channel, best Leeds fan channel by country mile, by the way. Rafinha, if you're watching this, mate, he's fine. Stay at home. Get the kettle on. Make yourself some authentic Brazilian dishes. Just relax.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, like I said, I think Norwich could have a lot of fun down the central space as well, because Leeds just don't have a midfield at the minute. So it is pretty much Calvin Phillips in that midfield. And I know you've been talking about Matthias Norland and stuff like that. So yeah, mate, it's going to be fascinating to see. It's going to be a real encounter. I am already really, really nervous about this one.
My palms are sweating. My palms are sweating talking about it. So God knows what I'll be like at Carrow Road. Oh God,
I don't. To be honest, Chris, I don't think there's many games this early on where both teams are looking at it and thinking these are must wins. These are must wins. So it's fascinating, mate. But we'll wrap it up anyway. 34 minutes in. I've really enjoyed this one. Go check out Chris and Jack on Talk Norwich City. Both called Reeve, believe it or not, in the surnames, which, Chris, unbelievable that you're not brothers as well. Yeah, just strange. Yeah, there we go. But you never know in Norwich, I guess. Guys, go check them out. Thank you so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Chris, thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate it. And listen, post-match, there'll be loads of stuff on Talk Norwich City, so make sure you go check out all the good stuff if Leeds have won. Guys, thank you so much, and we will see you in a bit.